Imagine you're deployed to the AOR. Your base is suddenly attacked on all sides, and you are fighting for your very life from a bunker. Approaching you is the fly, barely visible to the human eye. This fly has a mouth shaped into a set of daggers with a single purpose to pierce and draw out blood and other fluids. Because of your lack of prevention, you are now an unwilling host for the parasite, one that will target your immune system. This is the culprit, the sandfly. Of the many diseases this minute fly transports, visceral leishmaniasis is by far the most lethal. The sandfly changes its form many times during development. Each stage, including the egg, larva, pupa, and adult, are cleverly designed with the single purpose of achieving survivability. The sandfly life cycle will repeat itself if given optimal environmental conditions, resulting in a potentially larger population. This means that there is a higher chance of you, the deployer, encountering and being the next target. Sandfly larvae inhabit damp places high in organic matter located in animal burrows, termite hills, caves, cracks in walls, and tree holes, to name a few. But they can also be found dwelling in unexpected areas, such as in the red square shown here. In this depiction, the leishmaniasis and phantom parasite shown in the rotating square has utilized the Phlebotomus candelaki sandfly as a transport vehicle to the reservoir. Insertion of the sandfly's mouth parts disrupts capillaries and cells while saliva induces blood and lymph flow into the wound. Infected white blood cells are then drawn into the sandfly's gut. The sandfly becomes a transport vehicle when it draws blood from the reservoir or dog and transfers the parasite to an unwary host, or in this case, the deployer, due to a close encounter while in search for another blood meal. Now we will view this anthropophilic or human-loving sandfly from the inside. The circle notes critical points in the leishmaniasis cycle. Here, mature parasites are moving up the gut of the sandfly towards the mouth. These parasites will spread forward into the mouth parts and rearward into the gut. The valves and sphincters of the sandfly proboscis will not work properly due to parasite infection and typically will regurgitate more advanced leishmaniasis parasites called metacyclic promastogotes into the human host. A human immune response is triggered. White blood cells enter the blood pool and engulf or swallow the parasites through a process called phagocytosis. Parasites are delivered using white blood cells as a transport mechanism to target areas in the immune system. These target areas include the spleen, lymph nodes, and associated organs such as the liver. When the parasites arrive, they mass produce, infect, and destroy white blood cells within these organ systems, causing the tissue to become enlarged due to the inflammatory response, which results in organ swelling. Symptoms preceding this cruel death include 2 daily peaks of fever, anemia, nausea, emaciation, and generalized weakness. If you think you are lucky because you are being medically evacuated to a higher echelon of care, think again. 95% of the population infected with this parasite die if left untreated. The drug of choice, amphotericin B, is known for its potentially lethal side effects, which include multiple organ failure and death. There are several prevention strategies you can use to avoid being bitten by the sandfly. Human-to-fly contact is increased by moving into areas teeming with infected flies during times of peak biting activity. One prevention strategy is situational awareness. Staying vigilant of your surroundings and utilizing your knowledge of the sandfly could potentially reduce an encounter with this insect. Another strategy is protecting yourself with a second layer of military or civilian clothing. When you apply DEET to your clothing, it creates a more potent layer that produces what the fly interprets as noxious stimuli. If you look closely, you can see the fly diverting its course from your protected clothing. Human-to-fly contact is increased when sleeping outdoors. You were sleeping in your bunker. Protecting your bunker with a bed net would have been another effective preventive strategy. Although the sandfly can move through an untreated bed net due to its minute size, when DEET is applied, the bed net becomes a formidable barrier. Research has demonstrated that a substantial amount of sandflies will die when settling on the treated surface of a bed net. Important note: do not sacrifice situational awareness and DEET-treated clothing for the treated bed net. It is not enough protection. A final prevention strategy would be the following. Applying the information in this video instruction and utilizing your public health staff and entomologists as resources will reinforce your knowledge of the sandfly leishmaniasis threat. Leishmaniasis can stay dormant in the body for several years. What if you were not exhibiting symptoms and became a blood donor several years after your return from deployment? Do you want to be the one blamed for the next epidemic? remember to notify your public health officer and entomologist if you locate a sandfly threat in your area.